Hello and welcome to the second video in this series on natural language processing. In the first video, I covered the basics of natural language processing with an overview of its components. Now I am going to explain how to prepare a development environment to work on this. I will introduce the natural language toolkit which can be used in Python to develop applications for natural language processing. We will look at the following topics. Since we are starting with the development environment, it is appropriate to look at the Zen principles of Python. I will then move on to explaining what the natural language toolkit is, the goals of this toolkit. I will then cover how to install the natural language toolkit. We will then end the session with a small example of using this toolkit in a simple Python program. We will look at a tokenization example and conclude the session with the same. Python refers to a set of 19 guiding principles that are expected to be known by Python developers and be followed. These serve as a good reference for developers of the language to make decisions when they are writing code in Python. And since the natural language toolkit is used in Python, I felt that this was a good point to have a refresher on the same so that this can remain fresh in our memory when we are writing solutions for natural language processing. The guidelines are as follows. It is important to write a beautiful readable code. The code statement should be very explicit and easy to understand. Then comes the guideline on simplicity. If something can be done in a simple way, the complex way to do the same should be avoided. And if the only way to do the same something is a complex mechanism, then obviously avoid the complicated mechanism. What comes next is a guideline to follow when there is a great deal of nesting and branching happening in the code. Atom must be able to keep the structure as flat as possible and to keep the code distribution sparse and not extremely dense. What this means is the code should be spaced out and line breaks should be placed at the proper points so that the readability of the code is very nice. Remember, the end goal is to develop a solution which is elegant and the code must also be easily maintainable. If we don't follow some of these guidelines, keeping extremely dense single line codes, using clever hacks which make a lot of implicit assumptions, down the road the solution is going to reach a stage where the code is going to become extremely difficult to maintain, and that is not something that any developer or an organization wants. So readability is very important so that everyone can understand what the code is trying to do and can either maintain the same or enhance it with relative ease. Then comes the guideline on special cases. So while following a set of rules, it is always tempting to say something is a special case and an exception to the rule must be made. So when faced such a situation, again the subsequent rule comes into picture. So reading them together, you get the full picture. So here practicality is important. The solution, the code should work. So the decision should always be taken taking 8 and 9 together. If something really a special case, is there a need to break the rules? Are we serving a practical purpose? So again, that is why these are called as guidelines and guiding principles. They are not rigid rules where you are going to be punished for not following them. It is important to apply common sense, read the situation at hand and solution at hand, and stick as close to these guiding principles as possible so that you always have a reference to know how much you are deviating from it and can take actions to correct the same when the situation arises. Then comes the rules on how errors must be handled. So silently ignoring error cases is not expected unless there is a real reason to explicitly silence such errors. Then comes the guideline on not guessing when writing code. If something is not clear, rely on data, go back to the drawing board, the design, know what the solution is expecting, and then write code for the same. Guessing while writing code will lead to situations where the code is not really doing what the solution is expected to do. Then the subsequent guidelines also involve a focus on the actual how of implementing something in the language. When a solution is decided and implemented, it should be done in the most obvious way possible, and any improvements must be done immediately. And saying that now is better than never is a good way to reinforce this guideline. So this gives importance to doing the good things that are necessary to make the solution more elegant and more improved. They must be done immediately, and if there is a reason that it cannot be done immediately, it has to be planned at the earliest instead of saying that something will not at all be done. And then finally it comes down to the case of how the implementation is done end to end. If an implementation is hard to explain, it is a bad idea. If an implementation is easy to explain, it means the person who wrote has a good idea of what the solution is expected to do, and it can be easily understood by others. The final written guideline focuses on namespaces and call to do more of the namespaces in Python development by understanding the benefits of using the same. Let me now introduce the Natural Language Toolkit. This toolkit was originally created in 2001 at the University of Pennsylvania as part of a computational linguistics course. From my first video, you may remember that natural language processing has its roots in the science of languages called linguistics. This toolkit contains a lot of corpora and lexical resources. It contains several tools, interfaces and methods, all of which serve one purpose: how to analyze large amount of text data and make meaningful applications out of it. It also contains modules for every part involved in natural language processing. In the introductory video, we saw the different parts for doing natural language processing, namely tokenization, stemming, parsing, tagging, part of speech identification. This toolkit has the tools to do all of these, and when designing an application, using this toolkit will speed up the development because the developer can rely on this toolkit to give the results of each of these parts of natural language processing as a ready to use modules or applications. On the right side of the screen, you see a list of natural language toolkit modules and their associated functionalities. As we go through the course, we will take a look at each of these and learn more about the same. Apart from the natural language toolkit, there are also several other such toolkits or libraries available for natural language processing. spaCy being one of the more popular such libraries for natural language processing. In this video, however, we will focus only on the natural language toolkit. Let us now move on to learning the goals of the natural language toolkit. The primary goal is to provide a simple, consistent, extensible and modular toolkit to the developers of natural language processing solutions. By simplicity, the meaning is to provide a very intuitive framework where the APIs and modules are obvious in the purpose they serve and are elegant and easy to use. And of course, the other aspects such as consistency, extensibility, modularity, these are all derived from the Zen of Python guiding principles. If you can recall the earlier part of this video, these are some of the aspects that are serving as the guidelines for Python development. Again, this toolkit wants to apply all these principles exclusively to the domain of natural language processing. So while developing solutions based on this, it is important to keep these goals in mind when you use the natural language toolkit, and to know what can you expect out of the toolkit. Now that I have covered the introduction to what natural language toolkit is and its goals, it is important to know some important terminology related to natural language processing. So here a corpus is referring to any body of text. Lexicon, also known as dictionary, refers to a set of words and their meanings. And finally, tokens is something referring to the smallest unit that is available. So take an entity, we want to split it into smaller components to understand it well. So if you take a paragraph, then the token of a paragraph can be its sentences. And if you take a sentence, each word is a token. So these three are terms that you will see getting used repeatedly wherever natural language processing is involved, and it is important to familiarize yourself with these terms so that you can follow subsequent sessions as well as any literature that you may read on natural language processing. The installation of the natural language toolkit is rather straightforward. What you are seeing here is installation procedure in Linux. You can install this as a Python package. It is advised to use Python 3 and above. As you can see in the log here, I use Python package installation to install the natural language toolkit, to 3 install NLTK, and then in the subsequent step I download all the data that is available as part of the natural language toolkit. You can download either only the popular data modules of the natural language toolkit, or for study purposes if you would like to download everything, you can use python 3 -m nltk.downloader space all. So once you have done that, to confirm that the installation has happened successfully, you can go to the Python interpreter and type import NLTK. So if this succeeds, it means you have installed the natural language toolkit successfully. Now that we have seen an overview of what NLTK is, its goals, the basic terminology, and the procedure to install this natural language toolkit, we will move on to the final topic of this presentation, where we are going to cover an important part in natural language processing, and in most cases the first step that happens when a body of text is taken for processing. It is called tokenizing. Tokenizing, as we just saw, uh, involves splitting a larger structure into smaller components. So in terms of natural language processing, it means taking paragraphs, sentences or words and breaking them down to understand their meaning. So in doing so, there are several ways to do the same. So there may be cases where you would want to tokenize a body of text based on a particular character. The toolkit you can tokenize based on lines, tabs, white spaces, punctuations, and even regular expressions. And there will be cases where you would want to know the word frequency. There the toolkit can help. And there are also applications where you have to do autocorrect, provide alternative suggestions for words to use. So in all of these cases, tokenizing is an important step involved. And in the course of this video series, we will look at examples for all of these so that you can understand them better. Let us now look at a small program as a demonstration of how NLTK must be used in a Python program and a solution must be implemented. On your screens now is an Eclipse window which contains a simple Python program that is using the natural language toolkit. I have imported the natural language toolkit in my code. I have a very simple data here. It just has two sentences. I'm going to demonstrate tokenization on this data. This data can be a file, it can be anything. But for the demonstration purpose here, I have just given the text directly here. And I'm going to use two simple APIs. One is the sentence tokenizer and the other is the word tokenizer. The first API returns each sentence in this data as a single token, and the second returns every word in this data as an individual token. So now I execute this code. You will see below that you have received the output. Sentence 1 returned as token 1, sentence 2 returned as the next token. Similarly, in the use of the word tokenizer, you see that every word has been returned as an individual token. So this is a very simple demonstration that the natural language toolkit has been installed properly in your environment and you are able to use this in a program that you are developing. So I have here used Eclipse IDE where I have installed the Python development environment and I have used the same. So depending on your convenience and the IDE that you are comfortable with, please set up Python environment and install the natural language toolkit as explained earlier in this video and have this environment ready. So if this is there, I will use such an environment for my subsequent videos and you will be able to try out the examples that I am explaining on your own. With that, we come to the end of this second video on natural language processing. We saw what the natural language toolkit is along with the procedure to install the same and a short demo on using it in a Python program. So in the subsequent session, I will move on to other topics in natural language processing. I will also use other relevant NLP toolkits and libraries whenever the topic requires the same. So looking forward to having you back for the next videos in this series. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.